Hey everybody, glad that you're joining me for tea and stories. I hope you have your favorite beverage. I said that, and a friend of mine said to me, Carla, what do you mean their favorite beverage? I said, well, for some people, they may not want tea while we do stories. They may want a glass of wine in the middle of the day. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. As long as, you're not drinking alone because you're here with me. And if you're not drinking to get drunk, you're okay. Go ahead and have your glass of wine. Trust me. I wish I could have a glass of wine right in the middle of the day. I'm working towards, if I can use a little bit more weight and get myself down and get off my diabetes medicine, I'm going to have a glass of wine in the middle of the day too. I do believe in adult beverage sometimes. Everybody needs a little adult beverage. And as long as we're not with little kids, I'm hoping that you are watching this at a time when you can just sit down and chill. If you have little kids with you, that's fine. The stories that I'm telling today are PG, so it's all right. But if you just need to come for tea and stories and you want all adult stories, you just let me know. I am, like I said before, I really want to do bedtime stories, and I want to do bedtime stories for adults this week, which I'm going to be doing on Saturday night since I missed with you yesterday. Now, the reason why I missed yesterday is because yesterday was my Sky Pie's second birthday. Her 2 years old. She's beautiful. That's my little butterfly baby. Yes, I'm a gushing grandma because I love my Skylar very, very much. That's my baby Bop. Skylar Autumn is the best gift any Mimi could ever have. That's what she calls me. Now, I'd rather be called Oma because Oma means older mom. But she calls me Mimi. In fact, she calls me Oma Mimi sometimes. That's the name she gave me. Children have a habit of doing that. They label you, especially around maybe 1.5. They start to put labels on everything. And her other grandmother, who is my sister mom, Judy. Yay, sister mom, Judy. Sister mom's name is Mama. In fact, she calls her Mama Judy. And sometimes if she really wants to aggravate her father, she just calls her Judy. But she knows better. She knows who she is. And she knows that she got to put that handle on there. But she's learning. Me, every once in a while, she'll call me Mimi Carla. Or she'll call me Oma Carla. But she doesn't call me by my first name very often. It's like she understands that that's a no-no. And one day I'll tell you the story of why that's a no-no in the African American community. It's a very interesting story because it's a very cultural story. If anybody here, what names did you call your grandmother? Hey, Jimmy Jam, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. For anybody who's watching, please share James with your folks so that everyone can hear this live. This is a bunch of stories. People who are coming on. Hey, honey bunny. Thank you. Anybody who, if you had a special name for your grandmother. Oh, Granny. Awesome. Awesome. I called my grandma. I had Grandma. I had Nana. I have a friend whose grandchild calls her Nana Boo. My son Atim, he used to call my mother Nanny Bookums. And my mother was like, where did he come up with some Nanny Bookums from? I didn't know at first, but he told me later on, he said, because one day I was teasing her and he heard me and I said, oh, Nanny Bookums. He liked the way it sounded, so that's what he called his grandma, Nanny Bookums. I liked that. I thought it was sweet. They were best buds. If you guys have never heard this song before, let me sing it for you. Give me your unconditional love, the kind of love I deserve, the kind I want to return. Somebody asked me once, what is unconditional love? Now, unconditional love doesn't mean that you don't have expectations for that person, or that they don't have expectations for you. Not at all. In fact, unconditional love is a little bit more than that. When you ask for somebody's unconditional love, what you're saying is, give me the opportunity to get my life together and to treat you right, but love me anyway. Even if you love me from afar, still love me. Children need expectations. People need expectations. Because if you give somebody your love without expectations, without any expectations at all, what you're telling them is that your love isn't worth anything. And I know there are going to be people who disagree with me, but I know that there are a lot of folks who take people for granted, and one of the reasons why they do is because they feel as though a person is doing just what they ought to for them. But the thing is that people don't have to do anything for you, especially once you're grown. They don't. So if somebody does do things for you, they're doing it for you out of something special in their heart. Unless they're paid to take care of you. And even people who are paid to take care of folks don't always do it without expectations. They still expect you to be respectful. They expect you to be caring. And they expect you to be appreciative. Now, appreciative doesn't mean you got to grovel, kiss everybody's feet or other parts of their body. But it means that you're showing them that you care about what they're doing for you. This story is called Mama T. Miss Ethel always made Mama T for the young mothers that lived around in her housing project. Mama T basically was all them young sisters who had babies when they were very young and didn't have any elder to talk to, would come and sit down and have a cup of tea with Miss Ethel. They used to call her Miss E. Miss E would make them some dandelion and ginger tea, especially for them breastfeeding mamas, because she would look at her and say, "Look, down in the South, girl, when you feeding them babies by the breast, you had some dandelion tea that made your milk good, and it made them babies sleep better. Drink some chamomile tea if them babies a little restless, and that'll put them all the way out." She would laugh almost like she was crying, and them girls would holler with laughter, but they loved to come have tea with Miss E. See, Mama E loved those girls. She had daughters of her own, of course, but her daughters, once they grew up, and Mama E had worked hard, put them girls through school, helped them get through college, they was ready to go. They rarely came back to visit their mama. "Mama, now if you come here and stay with us." And she said, "Oh, I can't do that. I raise y'all. I got other girls I got to help. They ain't got no mama like you had. You was blessed." Her daughters would just shake their heads, and they would only come visit her every once in a while because they couldn't stand being in a housing project. Now, Mama E, she was retired. She didn't make much money, but the little money she did have, she paid all her little bills that she had, and then she would put aside some for the seeds for her garden and for tea and to bake a little, so them girls would have something to eat too. See, Mama E knew something that other people didn't know. Sometimes that little meal that she gave them when they sat up there and drank their tea was all some of them girls would get. Everything else those girls would give to them babies. But people who would look at these girls didn't see that. All they saw was these little ragamuffins going around sprouting out babies. But Mama E knew better. Now you might say, "Oh, Mama E must have been an unwed mother." But she wasn't. She had been married for over 50 years to her husband. And she loved him. He was a good man. But he was a poor man. He ain't had much. But you never would have known it. Even though they lived in the projects, guess what? Their house was immaculate. It was like a palace inside. It was beautiful. Because Mama E made it that way. And Papa D, his name was Daryl. She called him D. Papa D, he would pay anything that she wanted, he would do for her. That long marriage came out of them struggling together. And they loved each other. Not love, but loved each other. That's why when he left that earth, he took a piece of her heart with him. She wanted to be someplace where she could see where he painted the wall for her, where he had fixed the cracks. She didn't throw out that bed because she wanted to lay in that bed where they laid together. Now, at them Mama T's, Mama E would talk to them kids and would tell them, now, children, I understand that you be loving them men that you had them babies with, but where are they? Are they here supporting you? Some of the girls would look down and look all sad. And she said, don't look sad. That weren't your fault, it's theirs. It'll only be your fault if you let them come back and waste away your time. See, you are worthy. Yes, baby girls, each and every one of you are worthy. You got to remember that. And a woman of worth, don't let no man just come around here with no expectations. And I remember this girl named Cecilia. Cecilia would look at her and say, Mama E, you don't understand. I need a man. I need somebody here to keep me warm at night. And if he ain't here all the time, well, Mama E looked at her over her glasses like this and said, child, let me tell you something. A good man, a real man. Now, because there are some that are pretending to be men. Oh, man don't have nothing to do with what's swinging between his legs. Being a man ain't have nothing to do with definition. Being a male is all those things. But a man takes responsibility for what is his. And if you are his, he will take responsibility for you. And if you ain't his, then he just over there stealing. She'd sip her tea and sit it back down. And all the girls would think about what she said. Sometimes they would laugh and joke about her behind her back. Oh, she knew it. But most of the time, in private, they would come to her. Sometimes they'd come to her and say, Mama E, I'm feeling funny in my stomach. I know I'm not pregnant. What would you do? She'd tell them to go to the doctor. Sometimes she'd give them some home remedies if she just thought it was constipation and such. But she would talk to those girls. She would love up on them. She would support them. And when they needed a little help, she'd help them. She'd watch their babies sometimes too, but most of the time she would say, and why you want me to watch the baby? Now, if they didn't want to tell her, they knew not to ask. But she understood sometimes if they needed a little companionship. Oh, everybody needs some love, and I understand that, baby. But is he just giving you loving, or is he giving himself pleasure? You think about that. You are worth more than just some toy to give a man pleasure. You hear me? Yes, ma'am, they'd say. And sometimes they would cancel their plans, and then other times in the midst of it, they would look at those boys and they would say, "Oh, wait a minute. If I'm just a toy to you, I don't need you. I'm worth more than that." Later on, they would think to themselves, where did that come from? It came from Mama E. Mama E talking to their hearts. Now, as you get older, if you a mama, think about what you'd want your daughters to have and do. Oh, and I would tell you that Mama E didn't just talk to them little girls either. She'd sit down and have tea with them boys sometimes too. She would talk to them about what it means to be a man, what a woman expects of them, because she told him one day, "I can't be a man, so I can't tell you how to be a man, son. But what I can tell you is what women expect. And they expect quite a bit from you. And ain't nothing wrong with women having expectations, love. And there's nothing wrong with you having expectations too. But what you have to understand, it's a give and take thing. That's what relationships are. And before you create another human being into the earth, you have to think about that. Now, a lot of people would say, why would these young people go around this woman and she's lecturing them? But they knew better. They knew that that was love. Some of them had never had anyone who even cared enough to talk to them. But Mama E did. Now, when Mama E passed from this earth, all the girls in the projects got their pennies and nickels and dimes and dollars together, and they gave her a tea party. And they told her stories, and they told her daughters all about how wonderful their mother was. Told them about the times that she had been there for them. The young men came, some of them who had never ever dressed up for anybody, dressed up. They took their hats off. They didn't wear their pants sagging. And they went. And they told stories about how she found out that they were the fathers of this child and that child, and talked to them about being a good daddy. And some of them even came and said that they wished that there were younger women like Mama E. Someone who could love like that. Yes, indeed. They started having Mama Teas for the younger girls who were coming up. And they did that because they understood. They understood that Mama Tea isn't about a mother or even about the beverage that's in your cup. It's about communication and about love. So I say to you, if you ever want to love somebody up, make them a pot of tea. Make them something to eat. And listen. And share. We live in a world where people don't do that too much anymore, but we need it. Ashe. Ashe. Now, before I leave you, I want to tell you a little bit about Skylar's birthday tea yesterday. Yes, I had tea with Skylar and Amethyst and Mariah and Brian and my husband George, who my darling Skylar calls her Poppy. She loves her Poppy. Talks about him all the time. Talks to her dolls about him and everything. She had a few presents, not a whole lot, because she got a whole lot for her first birthday. I'm not gonna lie. She had a room full of presents for her first birthday. But for her second birthday, got her little car and got her some troll dolls because she loves the trolls. We watched the Trolls movie with her, all of us, and it was a lot of fun. I baked cake, and she got to watch her Mimi baking, and we had a tea party. Now, about 2 days after Skylar was born, when we knew about her and were really excited, um, I bought a tea set. The tea set I bought it for my daughter Amethyst, my daughter Mariah, and for Skylar. Because I wanted her to have tea with her mommy and have a special tea set to drink out of. So yesterday was the first time we drank out of this tea set. It's from China. It's a really beautiful tea set, and it has little green cups. At the bottom is a carving of a koi fish. Now, the reason why I got it is because I really do believe that mothers and daughters, mothers and children should really bond over tea. Tea is a very precious thing, by the way. It's a good way of sitting down and starting an experience with your children for them to feel loved and cared for. It's like when people like to cook for folks. When people cook for folks, you're giving a little bit of your love. I told this story before, but I'll tell it again. My husband, he always makes tea for our daughters, especially when they don't feel well or they're feeling down. And he does that, and to them, they call that daddy tea. And they love daddy tea. Daddy tea means that daddy cares about them, and daddy wants them to feel better. Mama tea is the same, but with mama tea, it means it's time for us to share our souls with each other. I like it for a lot of reasons. I think that, anything, if it's ice cream, if that's you guys' thing, it's not tea, that's fine. Going fishing, men like to go take their kids fishing, and it gives you a long time to talk. Anything that will give you that time where that person feels valued and special. But Skylar's tea party, oh, a little bugger. These cups are Chinese tea cups, and they don't have any handles to them. And when you drink, you hold the teacup like this. We didn't put really tea in it. First of all, I didn't have any herbal tea, so she definitely wasn't gonna get it. A 2-year-old on caffeine, not a good look. But she had little lemonade, a little bit of sugar, little water, and she drank out of it. Well, she decided that she wanted to drink like her puppy, which is my youngest daughter's dog. His name is Solo. She calls him Oh. So she puts her whole face down and it's hysterical. We were in stitches. It was so much fun. Oh, that's Skylar. We took a lot of film, a lot of pictures, because when she gets older and her Poppy and I aren't around anymore, we want her to remember that she was the center of the universe and that we loved her. The center of our universe anyway. And that we care about her. And that we all couldn't wait to spend time with her. We don't know how long it's going to be, but we're going to be there for her as long as we can. And I thank you all for joining me for Tea and Stories today. Like I said, if you guys have any themes of stories that you'd like me to do, please let me know. If you want me to do a whole Tea and Stories of nothing but children's stories, let me know. I'll be happy to do that for you. And I thank you all for all your love and care and for your support. And please check out my paparazzi site. I have the posting of my site, or I also post every day of items that I have on hand that I can send to you. I take Cash App and I take Google Pay. I also take checks, and Everything's $5. And for little children, what I do is do bundles of 5 items that they'll get. And be bracelets or earrings or rings. And you can let me know what you want in their little pack. And I thank you all for joining me, and I thank you for your support. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.